NuBryte Step-by-Step Install Guide. Ready to make your home smart? Let's get started with installing the NuBryte Touchpoint. Before we begin, let's make sure we have everything ready for installation. Tools needed: non-contact voltage detector, Phillips screwdriver, flathead screwdriver, pliers, wire stripper, electrical tape, optional, level, optional. Verify that your home Wi-Fi network is active. If your Wi-Fi needs a password to connect, be sure you have it on hand. Add up the wattage of the bulbs in your light fixture to ensure they don't exceed maximum wattage for the NuBryte Touchpoint. If using LED or CFL bulbs, the total wattage should be under 150 watts per light fixture. If using halogen or incandescent bulbs, the total wattage should be under 300 watts per light fixture. At this point, you will need to turn off the power running to the light switch where you are installing your NuBryte. Look to see which breaker controls the switch's power. You may need to shut off more than one switch to make sure all power to the switch box is off. If you have an older box, you may have fuses instead of switches. Find out which fuse goes to your switch and remove it. Now that your breaker is off, you're ready to start working with the NuBryte Touchpoint. As you're preparing to install, make sure there's enough room on the wall for the Touchpoint. Check to see if the light bulbs you plan to control with your NuBryte are dimmable. You'll need this information later in the installation process. If you can't determine whether or not your bulbs are dimmable, don't worry. You can select the option for non-dimmable bulbs regardless of type. All incandescent and halogen bulbs are dimmable. If you're using CFL or LED bulbs, you can determine whether your bulbs are dimmable by checking the light bulb's packaging or unscrew the bulbs and check the text printed on the white ballast cover just above the base. Ensure that there's a neutral wire available. If you're unsure whether you have a neutral wire, you'll be able to find out after you remove your light switch. You are now ready to transform your house into a smart home. Let's start by removing your old light switch. Unscrew and remove the faceplate with a screwdriver. To prevent electrical shock, please use a non-contact voltage detector to ensure there is no power running to any of the wires in your switch box before proceeding with installation. Next, pull the switch a few inches out of the switch box without removing the wires. Now let's use the labels enclosed in your NuBryte package and label each wire before removing the switch. The hot or live and load wires are normally black in color, but may also be red. The wire that comes from the breaker box, hot or live, will receive this label. The wire that goes to the light, load wire, will receive this label, light bulb. The neutral wire is white and is required in order for the NuBryte to operate. If you do not have one, stop and contact an electrician about having a neutral wire run to your switch box. The neutral wire will receive this label. The ground wire, which is normally green or yellow in color but may be bare copper or wrapped in paper, will receive this label. The ground wire is optional for installation, so if that is not there, use one of the included wire connectors or electrical tape to cover the end of the ground wire coming out of the NuBryte. Now you can go ahead and use your screwdriver to loosen and remove the old switch. Another tip is to cover your hot wire with the connector during installation. Straighten any bent copper tips with pliers. You must have about a 1/2 inch uninsulated tip at the end of each wire. If not, use a wire stripping tool and remove insulation to create a 1/2 inch tip. Hold the wire from the old switch and the wire from the NuBryte device parallel to one another. Now, add the orange connector over both parallel wires and twist in a clockwise direction until firmly attached. Carefully tuck the wires back into the in-wall switch box. Hold the NuBryte Touchpoint base in place and screw it into the wall box using the provided screws. You may want to use a level to ensure that the device is straight. Once the power is back on, you may use the on-off button on the base unit to check that your lights are working. If your bulbs are dimmable, you can also test that feature on the base unit. Align the pegs on the back of the LCD display unit with the base device and push them in until you hear a click. Congratulations! Your NuBryte Touchpoint is fully installed and you're on your way to a smarter home. Give the Touchpoint display unit a few moments to power up and then complete the setup wizard in order to properly configure your NuBryte Touchpoint. Questions? Contact NuBryte customer support at support@nubryte.com, 1-855-884-3890, or online at www.nubryte.com/support.